Hello, I'm Michael Nixon, and this is the Ansible. Today I'm joined by artist Phil Jimenez, who's worked on Wonder Woman, The Invisibles, New X-Men, The Amazing Spider-Man. You've actually seen him draw if you've seen the 2002 Spider-Man film by Sam Raimi, as he was the hand double for Peter Parker drawing the iconic red and blue costume. Phil, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure to be here.
You've worked on a lot of projects over the course of your career. What do you think's been the most satisfying to work on?
I have to say that the project that's most satisfying, I was signing up for New York Comic Con recently, and I was doing my bio, and they asked what the project was that I associate myself with. Like what was the project that was going to stand behind my name on the website and in the catalog book. So I asked my followers on Twitter and on Facebook, what do you think? Like, what is that project? And it was interesting because most people responded Wonder Woman, which is a project I'm sort of well known for. Few talked about Infinite Crisis, some The Invisibles, but I was happy to see that one that kept coming up over and over again was Tempest. And Tempest was a miniseries I worked on back in, 1996, 97. It was about Aquaman's kid partner, Aqualad, sort of growing up to become his own man. And I like to say that that project, more than any other, is the one I think that represents me the most. And the reason I say that is because it was me before I learned rules. It was me before I heard the word no from editors. It was me telling a story with the full support of an editor and an inker and a whole team at DC. It was my vision. It was my words. It was me being as earnest as possible at telling a story the best way that I knew how, in the most instinctive way that I knew how. I've often said if you like Tempest or hate Tempest, it's all on me, because there was no sort of editorial transformation, there were no rules I had to bend, nothing I had to break. It was just me telling a story about this character. And so I sort of liken it to those directors like, say, Steven Spielberg or any of the big ones whose later films are certainly more sophisticated and probably better told and certainly more refined, but they lack a kind of rawness and an earnestness that their very early works have. So I'd say if there's something that represents me and something I'm still quite proud of, it would be that Tempest miniseries from all those years ago.
Nice. Sort of on the other side of you can't really be a comic and a coin at the same time. We'll figure it out.
We could try.
We'll try. What's been like the hardest or most difficult project to kind of work on or get through?
What makes any project difficult, I find, aside from all the difficulty I bring to it being an ordinary freelancer, tends to be schedule. And over the years, I think most of what's been difficult about working in comics is it's sort of monthly grind. I'm not a fast artist, I never have been. And when my scriptwriters are late, and when I only have a few weeks to finish an issue, I find that there's nothing more unsatisfying and nothing more frustrating about that than trying to crank out work to hit a deadline, feeling like I could have done that so much better if I was faster, if my writer was faster, and more importantly, feeling like I can't believe we're going to charge somebody money for that. This is an experience that should be worth every penny they pay on it. Specifically, I'd say that probably the most difficult project I ever worked on was Wonder Woman. It was the project that got me into comics. It was the character I'd loved the most in comics since the time I was 5. When I was assigned the book, I was thrilled out of my mind. It was a dream come true. I was thinking I'm going to be 30 years old, writing and drawing on Wonder Woman. Nothing could have matched the exhilaration of that time. Unfortunately, I inherited a book that was a mess. I had multiple editors on the first couple of issues. Creative decisions had been made for characters before I even arrived. I had 2 crossovers to contend with, 9/11, and my first year was probably the most amazing, most horrifying time I've ever had in comics, because it really was the first time, I'd experienced editorial interference before, but never this, on this level, and it was so not what I wanted it to be. I had such a clear and simple vision, and I really just thought it was going to be more like Tempest, and it ended up being much, much different. and because I realized that this was going to be my one and only chance to work on that book, I didn't leave it. And, you know, I tried to sort of shepherd it through as best as I could. But my one regret, I think, in my whole career is how uneven my Wonder Woman run is. And for reasons that are also, you know, I was a young writer, I didn't really know what I was doing and was trying to make the best of it. And, but yeah, I would say that's probably if Tempest was the high, in many ways, Wonder Woman, in its weird way, was the low, for no other reason than I wanted it to be so much more.